Good morning. Denise Dryden here from Whitefish, Montana today. It's my last day here in Montana after spending a week doing visiting family, working, and enjoying the snow. I've missed the snow. So over these last few weeks since the beginning of the year, I tackled 3 different topics. The first one was like, how do you own your own novicehood? You know, how to be a badass novice, right? The second one was deep. It went really deep. It went into subjugation. Like, what happens when we power over someone? And we're going to touch on that and keep playing with that throughout the next few weeks because I think there's a lot there. And then I went to wide open spaces. How to give yourself space and time to integrate into something new, to understand something from a different perspective. And then today we're going to talk about how to empower because they're all interconnected, right? You know, when we learn how to empower, if we haven't been doing that, we're complete novices at it. We need some space to figure out what that means, and we need to come to terms with the fact that there are times as friends, as partners, as parents that we subjugate, and we want to stop doing that. So, I also shared Brene Brown's Braving the Wilderness book, in which she spends a lot of time talking about identifying how we as a culture have dehumanized each other. We have dehumanized groups. We have marginalized and separated out people that are no longer part of a group that we're willing to be a part of, and how separate and compartmentalized we are, and how this doesn't work. And so what I saw was, if we subjugate, if we power over somebody, then what we do is we dehumanize them. We say that your needs and your emotions and your sense of essence of self is not as important as mine. So I'm going to power over you. And so we dehumanize. And it was beautiful. One of the things that Brene Brown said is to rehumanize, we have to learn an entire different set of skills. I'm going to say that set of skills completely centers around empowerment. Always empowerment. So empowerment is to give authority to give power over to, or to put in, to give something that wasn't there before, to help someone realize their abilities and their potential. So to empower is this process of guiding another to feel and believe that they're powerful, that they're able, that they're equipped, that they matter. That they're seen, that they're heard, that they're validated. You know, these are incredibly important things for us to start learning as a culture and passing on to our children and our grandchildren. Not how do we power over, but how do we empower each other. So I coach parents. I think over these last series, that's pretty much the passion. Those who parent, those who are doing life and parenting at the same time, and they have influence over the little ones that they are with. Got a truck driving by. And as parents, they get lost in work. They get lost in relationship. They get lost in their children. They get lost in their own stories. They get lost in control and worry. And they get attached to things being a certain way. And man, you know, that's human. We all do that. So when we're parents and we have this, and then we start using that attachment to power over, then we hover and we control and we disempower our children and we subjugate them unconsciously or consciously because of our own expectations and our own pressures. So how do we break this cycle, right? How do we stop doing that? How do we empower another person, and how do we empower ourselves? So the first thing is that we notice. We watch them and we pay attention and we notice what they're doing from a light of curiosity and entertainment. I saw you doing something really cool, right? And then you identify what you noticed. And you go like, wow, I saw her do this. I saw him do that. Or I saw myself catch myself and do this. And then third is you speak your truth. You say something about it out loud to that other person or to yourself. So you notice, you identify what you noticed, and you speak your truth. So I know that sounds really huge, so I'm going to break it down. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was at a family retreat with 10 families that are in a therapeutic boarding school environment. And so it was teen and 1 to 2 parents. And I went in saying, I need to practice my empowerment languaging. So whenever I notice something, I need to speak to it. And so we had a group sharing, and this beautiful young man said, I'm shy, I hate talking, I'm not very good at it, and I don't like doing this at all. But I'm going to go first. And then he proceeded to open his heart and lay out there a really beautiful story of vulnerability, of struggle, and of what he's working on. And so when it came time to sort of put something in at the end of his sharing and the process with the family, I said, what I noticed was that you started thinking that you were really shy and not very good at this. And what I noticed about you was that you were very open-hearted, very clear, and very easy to understand what's going on with you. And it was beautiful to watch. So I thank you for doing that. And I looked him in the eye, and he just went, thank you. He felt seen. He felt heard. He felt acknowledged. Okay? So what we want to do is when we're using that, noticing what we notice, we're looking for things that are positive, supportive, encouraging. We're asking questions, to ourselves, like, did I see that? Yeah, I saw that. That was really cool. Listen to inform you, not for the next sentence that you're going to say. Just listen. Let it all come in and say, I wonder what I'm going to glean from what this beautiful human is going to share with me. Speak to what you heard, what you learned. Be curious, responsive, right? Receptive. Make sure you have eye contact, that you're open-hearted. You're not all crossed and going, well, I thought I saw. This is hard stuff to learn how to do because we're learning how to do this as a novice, right? We don't know how to change our dialogue. We don't know how to start talking from a different, more positive perspective. We can practice and we can practice and we can practice. So, own that novice part and know that, number one, that it's going to feel really formalized at the beginning. In fact, sometimes the first time you say it, your kids are like, oh, what did you watch? What did you read? Who did you talk to? Because you're not sounding like yourself anymore. Because it's formalized. And just know that that's going to happen. That you're going to go intentionally into places and you're going to talk about things, but you're not going to have a clue how to do it very well. So you're going to be a novice, right? You may slip into directing, which is my favorite. This is the one that took me forever to get over, which is I noticed that when you came home, you took care of yourself and sat down and started doing what you need to do. That was awesome. And I'm really hoping that some of that was your math homework because you're such a brilliant, and I was like, ow, here I am with my agenda of trying to use a compliment and direct them at the same time, right? So know that the direction is going to slip in, especially if you've been someone who's been directing and controlling for a portion of your life. And pay attention to if you want something back. Did you say it so that they would say something back to you? And you're waiting, right? I'm waiting. Come on. Tell me thank you. Tell me you heard it. Give me some kudos for using a different language. You got to get rid of that stuff. You cannot be attached to giving someone an empowering statement. You're just giving something from your heart to their heart to let them know that they matter. You can't expect anything in return. It may take some time to build this dialogue. Right? You may struggle with word choices. And the more you practice them, the more these word choices start to come into your languaging. I'm not sure if you look at the videos from, I think I'm on like my 92nd video. You may go back and look at the beginning and you can tell that my languaging and my posturing is changing over the years, over the videos, as I'm starting to practice empowerment languaging myself. And as I said, practice. So I want to share with you a really, really fabulous story I heard about work scenario empowerment, okay? Young, arduous, fabulous young man who's put in two and a half years of just head down going straight at work, right? So he starts to get a little burnt out, and he looks at his PTO. And he starts adding it all up, and he's got 91 days of PTO accrued because he doesn't take any time off for himself. So he starts to think about this, and he says, So he goes to his boss and part of the management team, and he says, I just found out I have 91 days of PTO, and I want to do something excellent. I want to do something epic with it, and I want to know if you would be willing to create that with me. And the boss just kind of went, yeah. Why don't you figure out how to take that and how you're going to make that work with your job and what we're going to do when you're gone, and then let's create this. Let's make this happen. And what he did was he went home and he figured out, what time of the year to take it, how to cover his spots, because he does a lot of seasonal work too. So there were some opportunities to do that. And when he came back with the presentation of what it was he wanted to do and where he wanted to go and how he was going to do it, they were like blown away, because not only did he present a problem, which is I have 91 days of PTO and I have to take them, but how am I going to do it so it doesn't impact you? And they just, wow, you're amazing. You're brilliant. You are collaborative. You are essential to us. And he went away on this 91-day PTO to South America to go climb mountain peaks, and knew he had a safe and supportive place to return to. And it's just a wonderful example. So empowerment is possible. It's possible when we let go of all of the ways that we used to think it should happen. So instead of, approaching whether it's this boss scenario or it's parenting or it's in our relationships or in our relationship with ourselves, how do we let go of the way that it used to be and create something new? So, the things that we need to do is get out of the box and come at it from a different angle. So the key is that empowerment is going to be really, really, really good for those that are unique learners, that are highly sensitive or empathic, that are brilliant creatives, that are young families learning how to blend incomes and babysitting and, like childcare and all of that stuff together. Anyone who's been overpowered. These are all steps that, even entrepreneurs, these are all steps of how do we take someone who's new and forming a way to do something in their own, from their own perspective with their own needs, and we empower them to create those. We can empower them and treat them like equals. We treat them like human beings that are equal to us, and we get curious, and we look, and we ask questions, and we say, this is what I noticed. So to be there, to notice and to talk to is something really essential. The more that we empower, the more empowered that they feel. The more we empower ourselves, the more empowered we feel. So get in the practice of doing this. And it's all right to say, I'm here, I'm over here. If you need any questions, if you have any questions or you need any support, just know I'm here. And then you step back from hovering and you let them go figure out what they need to do. And you keep telling them that they're on track. You tell them what they're doing. That works. So to summarize, you're going to notice. You're going to identify what you noticed. You're going to reframe it in a way that tells a little story to yourself about what you saw and what was so wonderful about it. And you're going to tell it. You're going to speak your truth. Right? And then you're going to tell them how wonderful that was. And you're going to put it in your own words, and you're going to do this from an open heart. You're going to do this from an open dialogue. And you're going to do this with an open door. Like, I'm here. I'm here to just be your biggest fan. So this is what I do. Again, my name is Denise Dryden. You can find me on Denise Dryden Coaching. And if you have any questions or you'd like to talk, give me a ring. Have a wonderful Sunday. I'm going to go enjoy the snow and start heading back to Washington. You take care. Bye-bye.